Hi, my name is Dan, and this is my channel Engelgeist. Thank you for tuning in. For those of you that are new, welcome to the channel. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. This is the January 2020 monthly Tarotscope for all of the Earth signs. So that would be the signs of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. All three of them will be included in this video, so if you have a sun, moon, or rising in any of those three signs, you might want to watch. Or if you know anybody that maybe is important to you that is one of those signs, you may want to cross-watch for them too. Ways that you can support the channel if you would like is give me a like, thumbs up, a share, a subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified when I do go live. For those of you that are watching live on Facebook right now, there is a comment feature that I cannot see. So I don't have my chat box up because I'm concentrating on doing these three signs. So I don't want to engage in conversation. So it's not that I'm ignoring you guys, it's just I can't necessarily do all three signs and keep my focus if I have the chat box going. So I keep the chat box down for right now. Just so that I can keep my focus on these three signs. So we're going to kick off with the sign of Taurus. Oh, the other way that you can support the channel is also follow me on Instagram at Engelgeist333. So you can follow me there too. We are going to kick off with the first Earth sign of the zodiac, which is Taurus. The Earth signs are going last this time because I feel bad because Pisces always has to end the horoscope, so I wanted to let the water signs go first this month. So you guys are my last, but thank you for being so patient, and you guys are earth signs, so you are the epitome of sort of grounded patience, or at least you're supposed to be. we hope. Let's see what's in the cards. So what is Taurus looking for? What is Taurus going to experience in the month of January? What are my Taurians gonna... I love my Taurians, I have to say. Y'all are a sexy bunch. I say this in every Taurus video, but there's something about a Taurus's energy that's very earthy and wonderful. Okay, let's see here. So this first card that I'm going to lay out is what I call the sort of default setting card for you guys for the month. It sort of just gives me an idea of where you guys are sort of going to be vibrating at in the majority of the month, not the totality of the month. So you might go in and out of this card throughout the month, but it gives me an overall idea and a theme. Ouch! Kicking off with the Magician, guys. Nice card to have. Total controlled magic here. To me, and I don't mean just like straight up magic, I mean like this is about creativity and making things happen. Really seeing sort of taking all the elements, the element of air, fire, earth, and water, and using them all together to sort of make magic happen, right? Really using our intuition, using our earthbound skills, because you guys are such a well-grounded and like, what's a good word? I want to say almost dedicated sign. Like when you guys set your mind to something, yes, you can be a little bit maybe stubborn at times, but also that sort of that kind of mindset can also really allow you to really focus in on something and create it and make it happen. So to me, with this Magician card, it feels like you guys are going to be in feeling your oats or your personal power during the month of January. I hope that's the case, because this is a really strong and powerful card to kick off and to be your sort of default setting throughout the month. It's interesting to me, I see like the different elements down here. This is a new deck that I'm working with, so I'm kind of just really rolling with the artwork, but we have the coin here, we have the cup, we have the sword. I'm not seeing where the fourth element is, but generally those things are depicted upon the Magician. And what I think is interesting is that he's walking through what appears to be like a doorway, and his back is to us, which is sort of strange, and this sword almost looks like it's through his foot. So I kind of feel like maybe we're letting go of... Oh, here's the staff. The wand would be this staff here. I feel like maybe we're letting go of some thoughts or some ideas that sort of maybe were holding us up in the recent past, and we're really sort of stepping into our own power. This card to me speaks to this idea of walking through new doorways, or really walking into 2020 going like, I've got this bitch on lock, you know? So it feels really good to me, and it also feels like you're kind of almost stepping away from anything that's not working with a determination and a fierceness that like is sort of personified in the Magician card. There's definitely a personal power in this card that I feel like is here. So whatever might have been holding you up thought-wise or issue-wise in the past, maybe money issues or anything like that, it looks like it's all falling to the ground or falling to the wayside as you move forward into 2020, getting ready to sort of create some new energy, some new opportunities, and really doing that with a determination and a clarity that comes with this card, the Magician. It is Major Arcana, so this is like not like a king card of any of the suits. This is like, if we set our mind to it, we can make it happen kind of energy, guys. So this is a really nice card to kick off with for the new year. Okay, so now the next card is what I call the foundation card. This card falls below it. This card is sort of what we've just been through, or the recent past. What is the sort of foundation for why we're in the place we're in at this time? Whoa, okay, the Tower. God, heady energy coming out of the Taurus reading. Another Major Arcana card. The Tower is always about having the sort of rug ripped out from under us. To me, the Tower is something that's sort of inevitable. It's got to happen. It's got to come down so that we can build anew. I think maybe Taurus, this Tower card for some of you, it speaks to the idea of maybe having lost something pretty significant, or something's been removed from your life in the last half of 2019 that you kind of thought was always going to be there, be it a relationship, a job, whatever it was. It's been removed at this point. The one blessing about this being in the foundation position is it feels like whatever the loss was, or whatever sort of this Tower moment was, it is in the past at this time, and we're kind of regaining our bearings with this Magician card. So this is a very strong card to be sort of resettling into after this Tower experience. You guys are going to have to leave me in the comments below if you have had any major things happen in the last 6 months that would represent as this Tower card. The one thing I find interesting with the art of this card is I love that these two ravens or crows are here, and I have this strong affinity with crows. They're always a really beautiful sign of things going right in my life. And so and ravens deal with sort of the idea of magic. Crow, the bird crow, is representational of the idea of law, right? The great spirit law. And so to me, when I look at this, it's like these birds, even though there might be wreckage in the tower's burning down, these birds kind of understand who they are and what they know to be either their own personal magic or their own, the laws of the universe, that sort of thing. And if we gracefully let go of stuff and we sort of walk away, which I feel like some of you have, actually, it might have been a struggle, say, a few months ago, but you're now at that point of grace where the magic that I feel like is in these two birds, the law and the magic, or the understanding of how sort of sometimes we have to have things fall away before we can create something new in their space. We're now ready to create something new there with this Magician card. So I want you guys to understand that this Magician card is very powerful, and this Tower card says that you guys have kind of had your fair share already. So it's time for you guys to sort of shine and create anew, to fill in that void of wherever that loss was and however that loss took place for you. If it, you would know as you're listening to my words what I'm talking about specific to your life, okay? So just apply it to that, and then think about the power of this Magician and the ability to sort of harness that energy, harness that belief, harness that magic, and make something new. The next card is the Spirit or Soul card. This card tells me a little bit about sort of what your spirit or soul wants in all of this and what it's going after. Wow. So this is I'm going to just switch these out so that we can look at this card for a moment. This is the Ace of Wands. You guys are not fucking around this month. I mean, I kind of feel like with that Tower as the foundation, it feels like you guys have been maybe messed with a little bit leading up to 2020 January, and now it's like, boom, it is my time. This Ace of Wands is the suit of fire and the element of the spirit, right? It's the element of fire. Wands represents the element of fire and the element of spirit. And the ace is always like, big, heady energy, super connected. So we're talking about the idea of the connection to spirit, the connection to our own spirit, to our own creativity, to our own inspiration, to our own sort of deep spiritual yearning, and the kind of the manifestation of that. And the reason why I say that is because you have this magician card happening here. It's like we've done the School of Hard Knocks through this Tower card, but we held on to the magic and the law that I see in these two birds, right? That I feel like they represent that to me, if you're understanding what I'm meaning. And so those two birds, or those two lessons that we've sort of taken from this loss or this strife or struggle that was inevitable, it had to happen, it's placing us into a position where we can start to create something bigger, better, spiritually deeper, stronger, and more in command, right? And so this is what our spirit is working on, and I love, 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 love that you guys have the Ace of Wands in your spirit space. You couldn't have a more sort of like connected spiritual court card to be in this position than the Ace of Wands, right? Out of all of the spirit, you know, out of all of the Wands card, the Ace is exactly that. It's like the high end card. So to me, this is direct connection to spirit. This is direct communication with spirit. If you allow your communication to happen with your spirit, you're going to find that this magician energy that we're running off of this month is going to be intense and beautiful. That's what I'm hearing. So be mindful of that. Stay extremely positive and know that your spirit wants some big stuff out of you. I've just noticed here on the bottom of this card, if you look really closely, it says, "Fire my spirit." So, yeah, you guys want to get fired up this month. And that magician card speaks to that also. All right, the next two cards on either side are what I call the outside influences. These cards represent as sort of belief systems, or sometimes things more vague like energies. They could be people, events, but they're just things that are having an effect on us, either positively or negatively, that are going on around us during the month that we might want to be aware of. So the first card we have is the Sun. Shit, y'all are bringing it, Taurus. Let's see what the second card is. And the Page of Wands. Interesting. So again, we have that sort of fiery energy, that idea of opportunities to learn, to get to this Ace of Wands that our spirit wants for us, right? But we also have this energy of the Sun, like it is shining for us. And I love, love, love that this man on this Sun card, this is the first time I've actually set eyes on this card since opening this deck. I love that he is looking directly at the Magician. He's like sort of saying like, let's do this, bro. So to me, the Sun is a very powerful energy. It's generally representational of the energy and the dynamics of Leo, which also, I have to say, ties into all of this fire energy that we have going on in the Spirit card and in this Page of Wands over here. So you've got a really dynamic tool set that you're working with this month. And put it to good use, guys. This is like a killer reading as far as I'm concerned. Because to me, it feels like whatever we've been through, whatever sort of lessons we've learned, and whatever we've carried over from it, I feel like it's set us up for this opportunity to start to create. Okay, so we have the energy of the Sun, and this dude here who's like King Sun, right? He's like, you know, totally into himself. He's feeling his oats, whatever. He's looking on, he's shining down on the Magician and saying, okay, go for it. Create it. Whatever you want, believe in it. Let's make it happen. Let me give life to it. Let me give energy to it, right? So that's what we have coming from the outside influence here. And then this influence here is this Page running also in towards, facing in towards this Magician energy. And the Page to me is always about sort of, Pages are always about youthful exuberance, learning, and then it being a Wands card is about learning, connection of spirit. There's going to be opportunities here for us to sort of be daring, to take risks, to sort of live on the edge a little bit. It may feel a little bit different than our normal Taurus nature, because I feel like Taurians want to be a little bit more grounded. But after this loss that I see here in this Tower, it's kind of like, what do we have to lose sort of feeling is what I'm getting. So with this Magician card in the center, it feels like we really are open to new ideas, open to the exploration of growth, and that our environment wants us to grow. Our environment wants us to learn, wants us to be daring, wants us to be bold in our creation, and to ride forward into this like energy of this Magician and this sort of creator position so that we can attain this Ace of Wands, which is, you know, a bit above this Page of Wands, but we have to learn a little bit this month so that we can get to this goal, right? But we have this energy of the sun backing us up. So I don't think, I'm going to say this, I've done all of the other elements, so I've done 9 of the other signs, and I have yet to do, obviously, Virgo and then Capricorn, which will be on this video, but um, one, I can't remember which sign it was, but one had really heavy major arcana going on. You guys have heavy major arcana too. The one sign, I'm trying to remember which one it was, they had like, I think, 4 cards going. So January was a significant month for them. But I would say for my Taurians, you know, if your rising sun or moon or is in Taurus, this is going to be a significant month about creation for you, about sort of the lessons that we've learned and the sort of solidifying of those lessons and understanding of them and the strengthening that those lessons have brought us so that we can move forward and create. Because even though you have the sun, the magician, and the tower here, we also have this ace sitting up here. And the page is no joke either. It's just, to me, the page is about learning and being daring and being exuberant and youthful and open-minded to new things, to that deepening connection of spirit, being daring, being bold, not necessarily being cautious or reluctant, okay? That would be things we would want to steer clear of. Those would be energies we would want to let go of in this month of January, because I feel like there's a huge opportunity here for creation of new things. I also love how we have the sun here, and if you look at the magician's hand right here, do you see that like beam of light coming out? It kind of looks like the sun card to me as I'm looking at that. Alright, so the next card is what I call the potential outcomes. This card tells me a little bit about sort of where things are headed in the by the end of the month, barring that nothing major changes, right? So if this is a good card, we can take heart in the fact that we're just sort of naturally heading towards this outcome. But if this card is something negative, we do have free will, and we can use this card as a warning to make choices and changes so that we can avoid this outcome. Okay, so it's not set in stone, but this does give you a little insight into what to expect by month's end as things stand right now. Wow. So again, you guys have another major arcana card. This is Temperance. This is all about balance. To me, when this card came up before, and there's this thing about, I'm not used to seeing somebody's head stuck under the water in Temperance. Generally, Temperance is like an angel with the 2 cups and the water flowing through it. This is a really different design to me because the art that they use for this, what's really pulling my attention here is this barren tree and now this tree full of growth. It's like a full cycle here, is what I'm seeing. And this here, to me, this Tower card represents sort of maybe that period where we were more barren. And as we move into January, or into, and we're also, I believe, in Capricorn season right now, which is sort of our, you know, also in line with our earthly tendency, earthy sign element tendencies, that sort of thing. So to me, it feels like maybe we're at a period of reblooming. There's a balancing happening, and by the month's end, some of this heady energy may taper off for us, but it will still be just as strong. It may not be as exuberant as this Page of Wands or as intense as the Sun card, but it's still got this beautiful balance and this beautiful room for growth and opportunity and sort of like forward movement. You don't, because this is the Temperance card and it is a major arcana card, it's still a very significant month's end, right? Things may slow down or cool down a little bit, is what I feel, but that doesn't mean that anything has come to an end or a stop. Do not think that. Know that you're still in your power. Know that you're still in your creation, and continue to create and do it from a place of this might feel a little bit more stable, let's say, because I feel like between the Sun and the Magician, there's that it has like a sort, almost like a sort of, even this Page of Wands has like a frenetic, quick-moving energy to it. This feels more balanced and slowing down by month's end, but I want you to understand that that doesn't mean that it's stopping by any means. That there's still creation happening, but it's going to be, you're going to maybe reel it in a little bit and balance it out, and then start to really determine which way you want things to go in a very balanced sort of manner. Alright, so that is your Taurus reading. I hope you guys liked it. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment, share the video out on your pages, on Facebook, YouTube, wherever. Please subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram at Engelgeist333, and I am going to get into Virgo now. Alright, my Virgos. Let me see here. Let me shuffle the deck for a little bit. One moment, please. Thank you, Spirit. Please have the cards that represent for those with Sun, Moon, and Rising in the sign of Virgo. For January. And again, as a reminder, if anybody's commenting on Facebook, on the business page, I can't see your comments, so I'm not ignoring you. I just can't. I don't have a chat box up. Okay, let's see what's going on with my Virgos. Alright, so this first card, as I said before, is the default setting card. This kind of tells us where you're going to be resonating at most of the month. Not the entire month, but most of the month. It gives us an overall view of sort of where you guys are at. So this is the King of Cups. This is a very emotional card. The King of Cups deals with the element of water and the emotions. And Virgos, to me, you guys are earth signs, so this is at least a complementary energy to your earth energy. But for some reason, this king looks very lonely and sad to me. I'm not exactly sure why. I feel like he has a lot on his mind. I think that there's a decision to be made as I'm looking at this king. Like, he feels sort of perplexed to me. Generally, kings feel sort of established and complete. I feel like he is complete in a way, but there's been some sort of, there's something that's, I feel like if you look at his face, he feels like he's still pondering something that he's not sure about. So there might be something that's rather significant for my Virgos that is emotionally like drawing upon your mind or drawing upon your emotions that you're giving a lot of thought to throughout the month of January. It might be a little bit vexing or perplexing emotionally, but I have a feeling, because this is the King of Cups, that whatever this is that's pulling at us or tugging at us emotionally, if we sort of find a solution to it or find the answer for it, it's going to actually put us into this position of what a king really represents, right? This sort of established authority, this sort of authenticity, this understanding of our emotional selves. To me, it just feels like we're almost there, but we're not quite there yet for my Virgos, right? It feels like we're still sort of pondering or questioning, did I do that right? Did I handle that right? Could I have done that differently? It's something like that is what I'm getting from this king. But he's still seated on a throne. He's still in charge. And he's still sort of like, kings come, to me, the kings come with an idea of mastery, right? And so what I feel like with this as being your center card for the month of January is that for my Virgos, there's a mastery that's happening around maybe your emotional selves and what's going on emotionally for you, that you're kind of working on or pondering so that you can get that completion and get to that sort of whole feeling, right? Because this King of Cups, it is a king card, so there is this opportunity here to become that king and reach that goal, okay? The next card is the Foundation card. This card tells me a bit about what's going on in the past that sort of led us up to this point. And so you guys have the Chariot. So this, to me, with this card, it has shown up in another reading, and with this art, I always see this as, this is a significant event in the past that was moving far too, very quickly. The Chariot always has to do with sort of speediness, directness. Sometimes it can move a little bit too fast. With this card, though, what I noticed when it came up in the other reading, and what always draws my attention, is these two different horses. They feel a little bit out of control. And to me, it feels like in this reading, as I'm looking at this King of Cups, I'm feeling like quite possibly some of this pondering that is on his face might be some sort of regret, might be some sort of sadness. There might have been maybe a decision that was made in the past or something that moved too quickly that now maybe we're regretting emotionally, or we're not understanding quite how we feel about it emotionally, because maybe things were moving so quickly we weren't able to make a clear decision, or make a decision, handle it in, say, maybe a way that was the way we normally would, right? Because you guys are an earth sign, you tend to probably be more methodical, a little bit more analytical, a little bit more maybe move at a little bit of a more slower pace. And this Chariot card says to me that whatever it was in the past, it wasn't allowing for you to do that. It moved too quickly. It got too chaotic. It maybe you moved to what you thought was the goal, that you thought was going to be the payoff. And with this King of Cups here, you're now there, and emotionally, it's not feeling like a payoff. It's feeling sort of not quite there yet. And so I think with that King sitting there, you will get there as you work on it throughout this month. But it's sort of this energy of this Chariot. This feels really chaotic to me as I'm looking at this card. It feels very swirled up in energy. The energy of this Chariot, maybe this indecision or this making a split-second decision and finding that it wasn't maybe the right decision or brought you the results that you thought that you wanted emotionally, that's sort of also the memory of that is also affecting this card here, I feel like. Let's just say that. I feel like that's kind of holding you in this emotional place of maybe pondering or wondering, what if I had done it this way, or what if I had done it a different way. I don't think that these are bad cards. I just think it's sort of something that needs to be worked out in the month of January. So the next card is the Spirit or Soul card. I'm just going to move this behind here so you can see it. And this is where your spirit or soul is at, what it wants for you. So this is the Nine of Coins. This is a lovely card. I feel like this is what the King of Cups should feel like. He feels regal to me. He feels like things are in control. All of his coins deals with the element of earth, which is your guys' element, which is very like comfortable for you. This is about material gain and wealth. This is about everything lining up to me. I feel like he's sort of, relaxed and hanging out, sort of looking at his wealth and riches. When I look at the idea of it being a coins card, to me, it's kind of like being able to sort of have everything neat and tidy, whatever that may be. It doesn't necessarily have to be around money. For some of you, this could be money. For some of this, it could be, interpersonal relationships. This could be romantic relationships. But whatever these coins lined up here represent in that way, that would be sort of like abundance, richness, feeling content. This is what your spirit wants for you. This is what your spirit is looking for. This is what comfortable to your spirit, because this is a coins card, right? This is an earth elemental card. It feels in line with who you are astrologically, and it feels in line with you sort of being able to see almost sort of what you have versus maybe what you went through with this Chariot card, okay? The Chariot card feels a little bit chaotic and indecisive, or having made possibly the wrong decision for some of you. This is where your spirit wants you to get back to, is that like, okay, well, regardless of all of that, you still have all of this wonderful stuff about you. You still have all of these wonderful opportunities here. Focus on those and bring them in and line them up and sort of get them back in order, because we know a Virgo loves a good orderly setup. So I'm going to switch these cards around to where they should be. Now the next two cards are the outside influences. These cards tell me a little bit about sort of what's influencing you around you during the month of January that you need to be aware of. These can be people, events, sometimes things more vague like energies or belief systems that are sort of either hindering us or helping us. So let's see what we have. We have the Justice card on one side. Beautiful. And we have the Seven of Wands on the other. Interesting. So I feel like there's two different ways to handle this. The Justice card feels fair, balanced, beautiful, right? It feels like there's an opportunity that, in this being a major arcana card, this is sort of a big energy that's coming in. This is an awesome sort of, how do I want to say, like empowered energy that's coming in. There's a clarity of thought, there's a balance here, she's holding the scales. I feel like there's opportunities here to sort of do the right thing, or do what is just and correct, if that makes sense. To sort of have this rainbow shining over us, feeling that opportunity. And I think that this card to me feels in line with the Spirit card of sort of lining everything up and realizing the good things that we have and what is right in our world, and what we can do right, and sort of living from that place. And these are the opportunities that are presented to us through this Justice card. We just need to sort of take them or utilize them. Now, with the Seven of Wands card, to me, this is a spirit or fire sign card. And to me, this might feel like judgment's coming at you. I've seen this card in a couple of other different readings, and when I look at this art, it instantly makes me feel like she's backing people off, or backing off these wands. They all seem to be flying directly at her. So I almost feel like there's two different ways that sort of the universe might come at you this month, and because you're emotionally sort of sorting things out with this King of Cups and kind of coming to an understanding, you have this opportunity to either come at it from this Justice card, or you have this opportunity to sort of be in resistance and maybe kind of not fighting against it, but defending yourself from it in a way. And in that, this feels like it's not necessarily a bad card, but it feels like uh, more energy is going to be exerted than we have over here. Does that make sense? There's a freedom and a power and a sort of justice that's happening here, that she's over here busy swirling around trying to keep all of this, I don't know, like negative input away from her, is what it feels like to me. I do think that this card here does have the strength and the power to do that, but I think that this card is stronger, if that makes sense. So it's really a choice of how we choose to handle our situations. Some of you might experience opportunities where you can be like the Justice card. Others might experience situations where you feel sort of judged, ridiculed, like you're being challenged at a deep level. And that might be what's bringing about this King of Cups, and the sort of pondering and the emotionality of this King of Cups for you guys in the month of January. But it really is going to be about how you choose to sort of operate within these situations. And these are the sort of situations that you might find yourself dealing with, and the opportunities that where you might be able to act from. Okay? Now, this last card is what I call the potential outcomes card. This card tells me a little bit about sort of where things are headed by the month's end, barring that nothing major changes. But this card is not set in stone. If we do have free will and free choice, all of that. So if we see something, if this card is something negative or that we don't want to have happen, we can use this card as a warning and make choices and changes to avoid this card being the outcome. But if it is something beneficial that we want to see happen, we can take heart in the fact and just allow it to happen, and just keep things going, flowing naturally the way that they should. So your card is the Four of Cups. Interesting. We started on a Cups and we're ending on a Cups. This feels again like emotional pre-planning. I just have to say that. I feel like something's going on with my Virgos emotionally that you guys are going to be working on throughout the month. I think that it's going to become more stable by month's end. I think that the four always represents stability to me, but I love that he is sort of sitting here with this map in front of him, like like a typical Virgo, let's make a plan kind of thing. Let's plan for everything and check off all the boxes and make sure it's okay. You guys are going to feel safer in doing this by doing it this way. So it will bring about stability emotionally, and you will feel a little bit better about things, but you will still be working on it by month's end. It does feel grounded. It feels less chaotic than maybe what you've been dealing with in the past with this Chariot energy, but there is a methodicalness, and there is sort of like a study or a balancing that needs to take place during the month of January, where you feel stabilized emotionally so that you can move forward with a plan in place. Does that make sense? So I think by the month's end, hopefully most of you will have that plan, and that plan will be something that feels stable and comfortable for you. If you want more than just that plan, you certainly can create more than that. This is just like an overview card for the majority of you that may tune in. So that is what I see for my Virgos. If you like this reading, please give me a thumbs up, give me a subscribe, hit the notification bell. I am going to pull the cards and start Capricorn. Thank you so much, Virgos, for tuning in, and I will see you guys next month. Okay. And for the last sign this month is my lovely Capricorns, whose season they're in, actually. So maybe that's why I did the Earth signs late. Since it's y'all's birthday, And you guys are getting special treatment anyways, probably from your friends, families, and energetically, astrologically. You guys can hold up the rear, so to speak. And what rears you have, my little Cap friends. So happy birthday to all my Capricorns. I hope you guys are having a great season and you had a great holiday and New Year. And let me see what Spirit wants the Capricorn Sun, Moon, and Rising to know for January 2020. One more shuffle. Okay, this first card is your default setting. It sort of tells me a little bit about where you guys are resonating at for the month of January. It's not necessarily where you will be permanently throughout the month, but you might be going back and forth from this card, if that makes any sense. Wow. Okay, so this is the Tower. We just had this show up, I want to say, in, was it Taurus's? Okay, so, wow, interesting. I'm just going to go with it. The Tower always is the inevitable. It's the thing that we need to change. We know we've needed to change it. Maybe it's because we're in Capricorn season, so you all are hitting your birthdays and you're looking and reflecting back upon the year and you're looking at how things worked and you're going like, is this really what I want, or is this the way that I wanted it? And you might be finding that the answer might be no, or that there might be something that's changing in your life that you're not necessarily, you weren't expecting to change or wanting it to change necessarily, but it needs to change. This is a really significant card. This is about easing into it, being kind to yourself and allowing yourself to embrace the change that's happening, even if it feels significant, even if it feels scary. You guys have this on lock. What I said when I saw this card in the earlier reading for, I believe it was Taurus, is that the interesting thing with this Tower card, which I don't normally always see, is these two birds down at the bottom. And to me, they look like either crows or ravens, and crow represents law, and raven represents magic. And to me, I feel like if we sort of stay focused on the idea of that, right, the ideas of law and magic, while we're in the midst of, say, our Tower moment as things sort of crumble around us, or come apart at the seams, or change unexpectedly where we weren't expecting it to, remember that it's okay, that sometimes change is inevitable and we need to have it happen so that we can be moved into the next phase, into the next year, into the next decade, into new opportunities. We might have to let go of some of the things that we didn't think, we might have to let go of some of the things that we always thought were going to be there. Right? And that's kind of what the Tower represents for me. So if you guys find yourself feeling as though maybe frustrated, maybe in need of wanting to free yourself from certain situations, or feeling stuck, that would be this Tower card. But I want to say, with this Tower card, it does say that there is inevitable change coming. So just be patient. Use the ideas of these two birds that are sort of waiting here in the center of this card. They sort of have that idea and that sense of magic and law, where they can sort of allow things to readjust themselves around them, however uncomfortable it may seem, and do it like sort of gracefully. There's an opportunity here to do it gracefully, and that with the power of the change of the Tower card, it can be rather significant and impactful in either a positive or a negative way. It's really kind of how we decide to interact with it, right? If we decide to resist it and fight it and pitch a fit and, throw a tantrum, it's going to be uglier and more painful for us, right? But if we ease into it and allow sort of the change to happen and trust the universe, trust magic, trust law, trust ourselves and our own skill set and our own capability, this could be actually a big step forward for some of us. Now, the next card is the Foundation card. This card is sort of represents the past. It's sort of the foundation of what everything's built upon. So what has gone on in the past for the Capricorns that sort of holds everything together right now in this reading. Whoa, hello, Devil. Okay, so the Devil card is always y'all got the Tower and the Devil, bitch. Like, really? And you're my last sign. Zodiac. The Tower and the Devil are not bad. Okay, like there's the three cards that everybody freaks out about: Death, the Devil, and the Tower. I don't see them all as bad. I see them as inevitable. I see them as some potentially earth-shattering. I see them as opportunities for huge opportunities for growth. I see them as game changers, really. And it really is about how we decide to interact with the game changer is really where we learn our most about ourselves and where we gain our most opportunity for growth and change. With this devil card, it feels to me the devil usually represents sort of um, indulgences, let's say. That can be indulgences of like a chemical kind, that can be indulgences of an alcoholic kind, that can be indulgences of a carnal kind, that can be overeating, that can be sloth behavior, maybe being in depression, being sad. This is sort of being in a position where maybe we felt sort of held back or pinned down in a way. To me, this feels a little bit darker. This actually, what's interesting to me as I'm looking at these two cards now is it feels like this energy of the devil card, it representing in the past, there might have been a darker period we've just come through. This tower might be the breaking up of that. This tower might be the destruction of that, which is exactly what we need, right? We maybe have not listened to our own intuition because we have this giant moon behind the devil, but he's sort of standing in front of it. And to me, it sort of feels like he's blocking maybe those more subtle voices that we knew we should have been listening to, but maybe we weren't. And we were taking like an easier, softer road, maybe through having that extra cocktail or, doing that extra late night booty call that we thought would make us feel better, but actually didn't. It made us feel worse. We're all human, it happens. But that's kind of what this card represents. And because of that, it sort of led us to this place of feeling pretty bad, not feeling very comfortable maybe with ourselves or our own decisions. And I think that this Tower card says to me that that's about to come to an end this month. That it's really sort of, we're about to break free, but it might be a little bit, I don't want to say messy per se, but it might be a little bit of a, not a struggle, but like it's going to be some work. Like the Devil card is about kind of overcoming something fairly big, and him being the foundation of this, and then the Tower being at your center in the month of January, it feels like it's a very significant month for you guys to really work hard to push ahead and get to a better place, if that makes sense. Some of you Capricorns, please comment and let me know if this is making sense, because I don't remember what last month's Capricorn reading was or the yearly that I read for you guys that you can check out on my YouTube page, on my YouTube channel, but to me, this feels like this is significant work that's happening for the Capricorns to really put you guys into a better place. The next card, I'm going to just move this up here, is the Spirit or Soul card. This card tells me a bit about where your spirit or soul is at and what it wants for you in the month of January. So this is the Five of Coins. This is an interesting card for the Spirit card. To me, this is about, when I look at this family, normally, well, when I did a previous reading and this showed up, it felt sort of like charity work, and like they felt poor. But to me, this family feels very bonded and loving in this reading right now. I'm not exactly sure why. And when I look at these sort of pentacles, I feel like they don't feel like, how do I want to put this? In the previous reading where this card showed up, these guys felt almost homeless to me, or like lacking or poverty stricken. I don't feel this with this card. To me, this feels sort of grounded. It's earth energy, which is the coins, but it feels sort of grounded in family and those that we love and the things that we know to be true for ourselves. Sort of, it doesn't necessarily have to be monetary wealth, but maybe it's that sort of, our friendship relationships, our romantic relationships, our familial relationships, those things that sort of bring about our ability to shine, I want to say, is how I'm hearing it. It's kind of like when we're able to sort of, okay, how do I want to put this? Like, if our ass is falling off during the month of January for my Caps, this says to me there's opportunities here to connect with your loved ones that your spirit wants you to find, so that you can sort of understand that you still have things going for you, that things are not all that bad, that things are actually good, that you really do shine when you bring forth that sort of can-do, earthy Capricorn energy and utilize it towards the helping of others, even when your own life might feel like dire, right? And I don't want to give anybody like any scared feelings, but to me these cards feel significant in the sense that you guys are letting go of some shit this month, and it's important that you do so. And in the doing of that, this card to me feels like it's going to be a balancing. There's going to be sort of a reconnection to family, to friends, to the things that matter to you. um, and there's also this opportunity again. I don't necessarily feel like this is charity per se, but it feels like when in doubt, like what I'm hearing is when maybe it feels a little bit confusing this month or overwhelming, maybe stop and use some of that beautiful, strong Capricorn strength and energy that you have to sort of help others, because that's sort of where you shine the most, and that might help you to feel like you're actually accomplishing something. This tower moment here might be something that you can't just fix in a heartbeat. So instead of getting all swept up in it and pissed off and angry at it, maybe utilize your abilities or your skill set to sort of help others and see yourself through those eyes, is kind of how I'm feeling that card, or what I feel like that card is saying to me. So the next two cards are the outside influences. These can be people or events, sometimes things more vague like belief systems or energies that are having an effect on us during the month of January that we need to be aware of. So we have the Knight of Wands and the Nine of Cups. This feels all about like sort of trusting oneself in interpersonal relationships. When I look at this Knight of Wands, Knights are always about protection, security, service, that sort of thing. But I always feel like when I see his horse, it doesn't know where to step. So I feel like there might be some situations that come up this month that might feel unsure, and that ties into this Tower card, right? That feels like where this unsure feeling comes from this Tower card of, oh shit, what's going to happen? What's going to be left if I let this fall apart, or if I let go of this? Where do I go next? What's that sort of... But see, if we embrace this and we just sort of take those steps, our horse will lead us forward, right? And there's a depth of spirit and there's a bravery here in this Knight of Wands that I feel like is obtainable this month if we sort of trust ourselves and we continue to move forward. With this Nine of Cups, this is totally like, I'm hearing like Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On. I'm looking at these two people. I know that's stupid, but to me this feels like not only romantic love, but this is just about connecting to other people and emotionally connecting to other people. Like I want to say, like I know that you guys are strong individuals and you're like usually the rocks or the pillars of the community, and you can do that for others, and that's where you really shine. But also remember to connect with others throughout this month and check in with others if sort of stuff feels a little bit out of control, a little bit uncomfortable. Allow others to come to your aid too and really deepen that connection. And that's part of this card up here, where I was saying that your spirit or your soul wants you to sort of find and strengthen those familial or friendship relationships. That's where the riches are for you this month. It's also reflected here. There's going to be opportunities where you might need to rely on people more so than you're comfortable with, or more so than you're used to, being that you guys probably are more self-starters, or you know, like I'm hearing that phrase, if you want something done right, do it yourself kind of thing. If that's your sort of motto, this might not be the month to use that as your motto. This might be the month that you might want to open yourself up a little bit emotionally and let people in and share with them what's going on with you, because you might just be able to deepen some of your connections, and not only emotionally but also spiritually with this Knight of Wands over here. And that could be a very beautiful thing, because I feel like with this Devil card as the basis, that's what my Capricorns need. You guys need to sort of reconnect again to who you truly are and what you're truly worth, right? So this next card is the potential outcomes card. This card tells me sort of about where things are going to happen, head towards by month's end for the majority of my Capricorns. This is not necessarily set in stone. It is a potential outcome in the sense that we have free will and choice. So we can use this card, if it's negative, as a warning to make choices and changes to avoid this card coming to pass. But if it's something that's great and we want to have happen, we can take heart in the fact that it's sort of naturally we're heading towards this card already it's already in process, right? So this is the Two of Wands. Interesting. Again, we have fire energy and the energy of spirit. Two is always represent as like the deepening of spirit, or sort of the connection to self. Wands being the element of fire and spirit, it feels like there is definitely a connection to our own spirit. And I think that this is actually a really beneficial card. And the reason why I say that is there is this Devil card and this Tower card here to me, which makes me feel like my Capricorns might be kind of, I don't know, doubting themselves or questioning stuff going on around them. This might be, like I said, with this Devil card, it might be from past decisions that were made that weren't necessarily, we didn't listen to our intuition. This Two of Wands feels like the strengthening of that, the becoming more sort of connected to our own spirit and more balanced in that, and relying on that a little bit more, trusting that spirit. It's funny, as he's walking away from the month of January, it feels like he's holding these two wands almost like crutches, like they're like allowing him to walk or aiding him in walking. And this being a Two of Wands is sort of the relationship to the spirit, right? And so when I think of these wands as helping him to move forward, this is about our depth of connection. Tower situations, Devil cards, things like those are going to deepen our fucking connection to spirit. Because sometimes when the wheels fall off the cart, we have to figure out how to drive the cart. And that's what he's doing here with these two wands. Is I really think that this is a strengthening of our relationship to our spiritual self and the depth of that, and finding that like sort of fiery determination within us, which we know Capricorns have, right? But you guys have it from a generally an earthbound energy, but this is more of a depth of spirit that I think is beautiful, and I think that it is going to be beneficial for the majority of you. But you guys have got to, and it also feels like to me, I have to say this, that this Tower card, it feels like it's by month's end, things will mellow out. That's what I'm feeling with this Two of Wands also, is that there's a sort of serenity or a peace or like an ending where we can start to move forward. Maybe a little bit, these do look like crutches to me. I want to say like they look like ski poles, but no, he doesn't look like he's skiing. He might be hobbling away from the month of January, but it's in a good way, because there is a strength and an awareness of who he is at a deeper spiritual level that is invaluable. And I want to say that to my Capricorns. I hope this all made sense. I hope it doesn't scare too many of you. If it does, leave me a comment below, and I will try and, maybe reiterate my thoughts or express myself in a different way so that I can give you better clarity. If anybody's interested in a private reading, you can certainly look in the video description once it's fully uploaded, and all my contact information is there on the YouTube channel, or at my business page you can send me a message. And I can look further into these cards if you happen to be a Capricorn and this looks like something that, makes sense to you, but you're not really, you want a little bit further information. Please let me know how you guys are doing, my Caps. I know it's your birthday season. I don't want to leave you guys feeling weird, but this really is an opportunity. I also see this, I have to say this really quick before I go, this depth of spirit here that I see that's also here in this Knight of Wands, about being sure-footed and stepping into the trust of our spirit, right? And the security of that, taking some of those risks, even amidst sort of risky situations, but also this emotional depth that's happening in this Nine of Cups and opening ourselves up to others and allowing them to see us as we are, also adds to this sort of balancing and this new sort of way of being for us as we head out of January. I hope that makes sense. So keep your heads up, my babes. I will see you all next month in February. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, and have a great January. All right, bye-bye.